Welcome to the Michael Singer podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jam Masters. You're starting a new year. You're supposed to turn over a new leaf. I don't know where that came from. What you're supposed to do is make changes in how you're living your life inside. And you're supposed to do that every year. And you're supposed to do that every day. When you wake up in the morning and the next morning, and you go through that day, the following morning you're not the same person. Yogananda once said, people asked him, because India, they're into astrology, and they asked him, should we have our chart read? And he said, you can do that, but if you're practicing the deep teachings, he taught them as Kriya Yoga, practicing the deep teachings, you're wasting your time. Because you're not the same person as they took the chart off of. That's how fast everything's changing. You can have your chart read, don't worry. So what are you going to do to change as you go through this year? First, do you want to stay the same? Look inside. It's perfect, right? That's exactly the way you want it to be all the time. And you feel all the love you want, all the joy you want, all the inspiration you want. And every single day is inspiring. Well, the answer is, I don't think so. What you don't understand, because they won't teach it to you properly, is right now you're in a certain state of evolution, spiritual evolution, physically fine. You're very evolved, highest species. So here you are. If you got right now everything you wanted, things that made you happy, things that made you feel love, things that made you feel inspired, finances that let you travel, all these things, and you wrote them down. What you don't understand, that's a curse. You will not change. Take a child who's throwing tantrums. Give them what they want, for God's sakes. They're letting you know, I want that toy. I want this. I want that. I don't want to go. Okay, fine. Is that a smart thing to do? That's ridiculous. That child will grow up to be the worst thing to ever walk the face of the earth. So would you. If you got everything you wanted right now, well, you look at me weird. All right, go back. I don't know how old you are. Make believe, if you're too young. Go back 10, 15 years. Okay? Maybe you're playing with dolls. Maybe you're playing with trucks. Who knows what you're doing. Okay? And I want you to write down, or not even in high school, just write down what it is that will make you happy. All right? And then go forward 30 to 40 years. And all we did was give that to you. Your little Truckee, your little Dolly, your little whatever it was. I want to play Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. 5th grade, 3rd grade. Okay? We'll just keep giving that to you. That exact thing that you wanted then. That sound very good? Enjoying your life? It's the same thing right now. That which you want now, I pray you don't get. I'm not being mean. Because what you're doing is taking the state of evolution you're in right now. That's saying what I want is a baby. I want is a relationship. What I want is to look young so that people are attracted to me. What I want is to be healthy. What I want is to win a gold medal in the Olympics. Okay? So you get the medal. It's a big deal. You stand on the podium. Oh my God, everybody cheers. Oh, America, you won it for America. And then what do you do with it? Once you're through showing it to everybody, you hang it on the wall. And you notice it once in a while, and it doesn't do a single thing for you. Do you understand that? Buy a new car. Save up. Buy that car you always wanted. I'll be really nice to you and say you got lots of friends, so you get to give them all rides. And every time you get excited, look at this thing and look what it does. How long before it's a car and you drive it to work and home? It's just what happens. You get used to it. It is not the answer to what you want. It's absurd to write down now what you want and think, well, I'll ask you another way. Have you ever gotten what you wanted? Now, come on, be truth. You have. That means you didn't want anything else, right? When was the last time you got what you wanted and didn't want anything else? Never. Never in your entire life. No, you don't understand. I love her so much. I love him so much. If he would even recognize me, oh my God, my heart would melt. Okay, you're being recognized. He or she walks up to you and says, I've been embarrassed to tell you that ever since we've been in kindergarten, I've just admired you. To me, you walk on water. You're the most beautiful person I could have. Whoa, how are we doing? Wow, okay, maybe they'll ask me out. Okay, would you go out with me? Maybe we could get married. Oh my God, to live with him or her for the rest of my life, that would be it. I would never ask for anything else. Well, God, you pray. God, please, I swear I'll never ask for anything. Right? If you got what you wanted right now, you would not change. And eventually you wouldn't even want it. Okay? So it's a new year. Wake up. This is what it means to grow spiritually. You step back and you look. Every single day of your life, you've been trying to get what you want. You do one of two things during your day. Try to get what you want or avoid what you don't want. Fair enough? I don't even know you. I'll bet I'm right. You try to get what you want, avoid what you don't want. And they call a paradigm shift if you decide, no, I want something different. That's not a paradigm shift. That's still, I don't want. And I'm going to devote my life to what I want and devote my life to what I don't want. Look at it. And you're encouraged to do that. You're completely, your entire society, everybody else, your parents, your teachers, every single thing. Decide what you want and go get it. Decide what you don't want and make it not happen. And you'll be happy. Really? What you will do is struggle. You will struggle to get what you want. You will struggle to decide what you want next. You will struggle to keep. Let's say you really got what you wanted. You're going to worry about losing it. The more you want it, the more you weren't okay. Listen to me. The more you don't feel love, you're depressed, you're just not doing well, and you meet somebody. Oh my God. All of a sudden there's this total shift. You're filled with love. You're filled with joy. Guess what? You are afraid of losing that thing. There's no way you're not, because it took an outside situation to change what was going on inside of you. It was not a natural change. It was what we call conditional. That's conditional well-being. I'm being tough with you. It's New Year. I got to be tough. All right? Is that not conditional well-being? It's based on a condition. You're okay because of this condition that exists. What if it went away? You know what you say to me? Why'd you say that? Well, I don't want to think like that. Getting what you want and avoiding what you don't want is the most overrated thing in the entire world. Now, just get the record straight. I'm not telling you that during your life into things, that if something's there and you're attracted to it, that you don't go with it. I'm not telling you there's something really, really bothering you, that you don't tend to avoid it. We'll talk about that. It's not about renunciation. It's not about renunciation. It's about waking up and realizing that most people don't know what they want. What people are is programmed by their past experiences. I met somebody and oh my God, I was so attracted to them. I want to keep them. That's past experience. I want to meet someone like that again. Past experience. And you just keep doing that. This turned me on, that turned me off. I want more of what turned me on. I want less of what turned me off. And you go through your entire life struggling to make the world outside of you match your past experiences. Now, I want to dwell on that a little bit. I want to know, do you understand that? You're trying to make the moments unfolding in front of you now and tomorrow match the past experiences that turned you on and not match the past experience that turned you off. Can you take a breath and understand that? Do you understand that? Every one of you are doing that, and you've always done that. You are programmed by your past experiences. Psychology agrees with me. Psychology says man is the sum of his learned experiences. Okay? It is not true. You are the consciousness. You are the awareness inside that is aware that your psyche is the sum of your learned experiences. Are you not aware that you want things to happen again that made you happy before? You're aware of that, aren't you? What are you aware of when they don't happen? Disappointment. What are you aware of what you don't want to happen happens? Pain. You're aware. You are the aware being in there. Whether you get what you want or don't get what you want, you're still the aware being. You're the consciousness, the soul, the essence, the Atman. That's who you are. But you are looking at a psyche that is the sum of your learned experiences. And it runs your life. Why? Because if it gets what it wants, whee! But guess what it doesn't want? And you like the we and not the. And so you struggle. You struggle to manipulate the world unfolding in front of you to be the way that matches your past experience that you wanted and doesn't match the past experience you didn't want. I could send you home right now. Do you know that? Do you see that? Do you see the absurdity of that? That is an absurd way to live your life. Why? Your past experiences are over. You're not the same person. Have you noticed? I always tell everybody, go to a restaurant and have the finest meal you've ever had, and the music is perfect, and nobody's smoking, and nobody's talking too loud. Everything is exactly the way you like it. All right? Don't go back. Don't go back. Why? Because it is not going to be that way again. There are different people who are in there. It's a different chef special. They cooked it a different way. And you're going to compare what you liked against what is. And it is never going to match. Wake up and see what's going on. Don't waste your life. You're wasting your life to try to make the moments unfold in front of you match what you liked before and not match what you didn't like before. But you don't have a choice. Why? Because you can't handle that you don't feel good. You can't handle that you feel bad. You can't handle letting go of yourself. Now you get into spirituality. Psychology says man's some learned experiences. No, you are the consciousness aware of the psyche. That's some learned experiences. Is that a nice life? Is that a nice life that you live your life based on that? Of course not. That's why you have anxiety. That's why you feel disappointed. That's why you get depressed. Why do you get depressed? Nothing's the way I want it to be. Why do you get depressed? Everything I didn't want happened. It doesn't work. It's not wrong. You don't go to hell. You just live in it. It does not work to let these past experiences run your life. And yoga teaches that. The spirituality teaches that. Well, what is my alternative? What's really beautiful, if you can understand, is the only reason you don't feel love beyond your comprehension and inspiration and joy and just enthusiasm all the time inside of you, unconditionally, is because you've devoted yourself to the garbage you stored inside yourself. The truth of the matter is, everyone that ever went there, these great masters said, back here, you who's looking at the psyche are the highest thing that ever walked the face of the earth. That is the nature of self. You in there are the highest thing that ever walked the face of the earth. Well, I don't feel that. Of course you don't. You're staring at something that isn't. You're staring at what you stored inside of you based on your past experiences. And you stored inside of you, by the way. You stored it inside your mind and your heart. That's your psyche. You stored it inside your mind and your heart, didn't you? You stored mentally, thinking, oh, I want that to happen to me. I like this. I didn't like that. If I even think of it now, I get upset. If you think of it now, I get all excited. You stored it in there. You stored the impression that it made in there. And you stored it in your heart. When the mind sits there and says, oh, that was so great. How's your heart feel? Whoo! The mind says, oh my God, that hurt me so much. How's your... They're in cahoots. It's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy between the mind and the heart. There's no way the mind thinks terrible things, the heart feels wonderful. There's no way the heart feels overwhelming, the mind's not thinking nice things. Okay? There's the same energy flow. The energy flows down and it touches both aspects of your being. It's the same energy. And so you wake up and you realize that the only reason you don't feel ecstasy, forget love, joy, ecstasy, nirvana, bliss, ananda, satchidananda, eternal conscious ecstasy, is because you're looking away from where it is. It is your seat of being, is filled with love. And no, not filled with love, is the source of love. Whoa, wait a minute. I thought my boyfriend or girlfriend was the source of love. There's no way. Have them say one word you don't like and see how much the source of love they are. They're not the source of love. You are the source of love. You in there are the source of love. Well, if I'm the source of love, why don't I feel it? Because you are looking at something that, like blinds, the sun is the source of light. It is always there. Okay? During the day, it's always there. Close the blinds. Oh my God, it's not there. Where did the sun go? You close your heart, you close your mind, and then you wonder why you don't feel joy and love and so on. When something happens, unfortunately, you need something to happen. You don't. And I'll teach you that. All right, and that's what we use this year for. Get rid of the conditions. When something happens that tends to open your heart and open your mind. Why? Because it matches your past experiences. Oh my God, I'm so attracted to him. I lost my father when I was young. He died young. And he walks like him. And the accent turns me on. He's got an Irish accent. He's got an Irish accent. And you know what? My parents told me that 7 generations ago, we came from Ireland. It's love at first sight. Conditions unfolded that were programmed inside of you to be positive and opening. And you opened your heart. And what happened when I opened the blinds? Oh, miraculously, the light came in. It must have something to do with the blinds. The blinds must be the source of light. No, the blinds are what block the light. Get rid of the blinds, there will always be light. You have these patterns in your mind and in your heart, and yoga we call them samskaras. Patterns you stored because you like them, positive samskaras, because you didn't like them, negative samskaras. Not difficult to understand. This was taught thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago in the Upanishads by the great masters. Okay? Neat? And there you have these patterns that you stored inside your mind and inside your heart. If somebody or something outside, a dog, a horse, you can fall in love with a horse. Not like a human. No way not like a human. People absolutely can love animals as much as they love their spouse. Maybe more. Probably more. Yes or no? Because you're opening. You're opening. So just love somebody and have them do something you don't like. Now all of a sudden you have a pattern in there that the next time you see them, you don't feel love. And it's hard to get back, isn't it? People tell you, well, cope. I know he did something and it hurt you, but you can cope with that. You may cope with it all you want, but you're not going to feel love again. Not like you did before. But I forgive you. I forgive what you did. Listen to me. Forgiveness is very, very good. It's not deep enough. The fact that you have to forgive means you have a problem with it still, but I'm willing to accept that you did that. I forgive you for doing that. Will I love you again? Not a chance. Will I trust you ever again? No, but it's okay. We can stay together. I forgive you. Anybody listening? It has to be, I was able to handle what you did so thoroughly and completely without judgment, without closing, that it left no impression on me. Not I forgive that it left the impression. Talking too deep, aren't I? You are capable of these states. So what I'm saying to you is the reason you don't feel love is because you decided I don't feel love for someone who said something like that. I don't feel love for someone who looks like someone who said something like that. I married a guy named Ben, and he was the biggest schnook that ever walked the face of the earth. Now we're divorced, thank God. I went to hell with this guy. Now my girlfriends and whatever are hooking me up for dates and so on, and they talk to me about this person. Oh, he's perfect. He's this, is that. What's his name? Ben. No way. I've had enough Ben for my entire life. That's a samskara. You store, this person has nothing to do with that Ben, right? But to you it does, because you got something going, right? And that's what you've done. You stored these patterns that either turned you on or turned you off. And now what happens when something comes in front of you, passes before you, that matches, even somewhat abstractly, matches what stimulates these positive past samskara, you let the blinds open. And that's what love is. It is your being managing to flow through you. It's there all the time. All the time. It never will ever go away. It is the nature of self. It is the nature of you. Your nature is phenomenal. Buddhists say everything has a nature, okay? The nature of who's back there is incomprehensible. Every master taught you that. Christ taught you that. As I sit by the throne of my Father, that is not a golden seat. That's a state of consciousness. As I sit by the throne of my Father, so you shall sit by my throne. And these things which I do, you should do these and even greater things. You're a great being in there. What you're staring at is the sum of your learned experiences. And by the way, I did have the experience. Yes, you had the experience. Now there's a new one. Then there's a new one. Then there's a new one. Then there's a new one. No, I'm stuck on this one. Why? It's over. The vast majority of things that every one of you are storing inside of you that caused trouble will never happen again. When you were 5 years old, this happened. In your first marriage, that happened. You said something stupid in school once and people laughed at you in 8th grade. Now you're afraid to give a public speech. Now every time you go to talk, you check yourself out, make sure you don't say something stupid. You don't stand a chance of having a decent life. I was asked the question, if you store inside of you every single thing that ever disturbed you, and you have, if you store in, what do I mean by store inside of it? It didn't pass right through. I said something stupid in the 5th grade. People laughed at me. It felt embarrassing. It hurt. What influence that has on your life? None. It's over. I went through it. I got stronger by going through it. Okay? I learned what it felt like to get embarrassed. I learned very young. It's fine. No big deal. I handled it perfectly well. It passed through me. It passed through. You don't have to store this stuff. They asked Ramakrishna, fully enlightened, one of the highest beings that walked the face of the earth, does an enlightened master ever feel anger? You know what he said? Yes. But it's like writing on water. Go write something nasty on water. Let anybody read it. Not a chance. It just passes through. Anger's a thing in the universe. There it is. That was cute. Your past experiences are your past experiences. You don't have to store the memory. It naturally stores memory. You have a memory bank in there, just like a computer does. You don't sit there and say, I'm going to remember this. I'm not going to remember that. It remembers. It's there. It has a long-term memory. Short-term memory, long-term memory, it's fine. That's not a samskara. A samskara is a totally different thing. A samskara is the event took place. It didn't pass through me and go into my memory and continue on its way to God. It wasn't something in the universe that came and went. Why? Because I resisted it. Because I did not want to feel it. No way. I don't want to feel this. Well, but it happened. I don't care. I don't have to let it all the way in. You don't know all the way in means? Have you ever had an experience go all the way in? Like you saw a sunset that unsurprised, it's just like it melted you. It just, oh my God, your mind stopped. It just touched. You know what you say? It touched me to the core of my being. That's all the way in. It touched me to the core of my being. You know what else they say? I felt like I was in the presence of God. You were, because that's what's back there. And if it comes all the way in and it flows into you, then it has that experience. Well, there's no way I'm letting this yicky feeling that came into me get back there. No way. Not a chance in the world that's going back there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to resist it. Outside? No, it already happened outside. It's already over. You already said what you said, did what you did, saw what I saw. I'm going to resist it on its journey through the universe. Every event is just passing through time and space. I'm not going to let it. I'm so smart. I'm so strong. I have will. I can push that away. I can make it go back. Just push it away. Do you push things away inside? Do you have hands inside that can manipulate energies and push them away? Freud had a name for it. Suppression, repression, denial. I don't care. I call it resistance. Everything is too hot. I don't like it. I don't like what you said. I don't like what you're wearing. You're sitting in my car. Everything. You just push it away. Guess where it goes? Into that system of your psyche, in your mind and your heart. Those who understand yoga, you have pushed it down into your Shakti flow, into the flow of that beautiful energy that's meant to be, not meant to be, it is always flowing through you. But you push this stuff down on top of it so you can't feel it. All right? It's like closing the blinds. And you have done that with every single thing throughout your entire life that bothered you. If you store inside of you everything that ever disturbed you, what is it going to be like inside? Disturbed. Now you have to work to try to be okay. I want you to be okay. I want you to be beyond okay. I don't even want you to have to work to be okay. It is your natural state. The fall from the garden is what I just told you. It's when you decided, I want it my way. The I woke up, the tree of self-knowledge. You started pushing things away and made this ego, made this person, this thing. And the reality of who you are is the source of love. You're the source of God. You're the source of everything. But you have blocked it by pushing this away. So spirituality says it's not about push it away, store this stuff inside. Excuse me. I was bad. I only talk about negative samskaras. I don't want to teach about positive scars. You have so much trouble, I want you to at least have some good time. That's graduate school. But why are positive scars a problem? Because the energy came in and it was so beautiful, you wouldn't let it go. You don't want it to stop happening, do you? So you grabbed it. Instead of using will to push it away, you used will to cling to it. That's a Buddhist term. Do you not do that? When you like something, don't you try to hold on to it? Try to keep it. That sunset that I turned into, I want to have that again. Oh, there's a house for sale in the corner. But I could buy the house and have that feeling all the time. See how long after you buy that house that the sun don't mean squat to you. And you can have something called the law of diminishing returns. So you cling to things that cause just as much trouble as the negative scars. Why? Because not only are you struggling to keep it, and the struggle itself causes ulcers and insecurity and problems and worry and anxiety. So you don't just get anxiety that something might happen you don't want. You get anxiety that something might not happen that you do want. And then what happens next? You start comparing everything against that experience. Well, last time you kissed me, I don't know, it just felt different. I thought you loved me. You say it, but it doesn't feel the same. Of course not. You understand that? It never, ever can feel the same. Nothing can ever feel the same. Why? Because it's not the same. Because everything keeps changing. In addition, there's this thing called a new experience, a first experience. The first time you ride in a car, any car, anything, go into a Tesla that goes, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. Get in there, go do it, right? Now, have it the second time, the third time, fourth time. It doesn't do the same thing. There's a law of diminishing returns. So you're clinging to something that's what Christ meant, don't build your house on sand. You're thinking this is going to turn you on. It's going to stop doing it. It doesn't do it. And you compare everything against it for no other reason. Because you were surprised by the first experience. Somebody walked to me and said, oh my God, I love you more than anything. My whole life, you're so beautiful. Whoa, no one ever talked to me like that before. And you sit there right now. Guy comes up, says it again. Third time. Started to feel like stalking. Yes or no? All right? It's like they're these things you cling to. You cling to it and you push it away. You're trying to make them happen again or not happen again. I hope I'm stressing this too much for you because you are wasting your life. That is a waste of your life to try to make the new situations turn you on that turned you on once before. And the old situations never happen again. Your life gets so small. So what's the alternative? Well, they teach you the alternative is get better at it. Earn more money. Get more power. So you can get people to be any way you want. Be the person in charge. Get the corner office. Be the CEO. They're telling you get better at it. At what? At that which doesn't work. That which can't work. Period. All right? Where did Hitler end up? Suicide. Yeah, he caused a lot of trouble. Did he get what he wanted? I'll give you a break. Wake up. Look at the extremes. Look what goes on with people that try to manipulate everybody to get what they want. So what's the alternative? The alternative is to realize what you want is you. What you want is self-realization. What you want is to know who's in there, not what it's looking at, who's doing the looking. Because every master that ever lived taught you, you're the highest being to walk the face of the earth. You're filled with love, filled with joy, filled with inspiration, filled with energy. It's your natural state. The trouble is the mind is programmed with this stuff that you stored in there. Wouldn't it be nice if you could let it go? Would you rather keep it in there bothering you for the rest of your life and things remind you of it and it keeps coming up and bothering you and messing you up and you have to live in a little box that it doesn't touch? Or would you rather be free? That's what freedom means. Jiva Mukta, liberated soul, an untethered soul. It means you're not locked inside the box of your own making. Can you reach that state? Oh, what are you kidding me? Of course you can. How do you know I can? Because you're the one who's keeping it in there. If I said to you, here's 7,000 pounds, pick it up. You can do it. You may not be able to do it. But if you're the one who's doing it, and I say, don't do it, of course you can do it. You're the one who's doing it. Did you see the difference? You're the doer. Is that something else? There's nothing else in there. You're the only one in there. You are the only one in there. Mommy's not in there. Daddy's not in there. You're in there. And you are using your will to keep that thing inside of you. How do I know? Because when it comes back up, you push it back down. You say, don't talk to me like that. You know I don't like to talk like that. My father talks to me like that. I can't handle it. All right? That's so you push it away. Yoga, true spirituality. Yes, all your techniques are wonderful. Do them. By all means, do them. All right? But I'm telling you, well, you keep that stuff inside of you, you're not going anywhere. You may have a high experience. You may literally have a total opening and merge with the universe for a moment, but you're coming back. You understand that? You're coming back because that's what's holding you down. It's like there's a ship trying to sail, but there's an anchor. Well, let's steam it up more. Why don't you pick up the anchor? The anchor is what you stored inside of you. If you don't store that inside of you, you're gone. You're as high as they all went, the great ones. It is because you stored this garbage inside of you and you were not able to handle the experience of your life and you suppressed them and held them down and cling to make them happen. That whole thing I'm talking about. The fact that you devoted your life to getting what you want again and avoiding what you don't want again, and that's your life. We're not going to go anywhere. You may be reasonably, conditionally okay with that, but it's not going to stay. You have to struggle to keep it. I told you. But if the richest man in the world, who's number one on Forbes, he's the number one Forbes list, the richest man in the world, 1 year. I'm telling you, if he or she is number 2 the next year, it bothers them. It's silly. They have tons of money. It doesn't matter. It's ego thing. You can't win. You cannot win in the game of I want to have what turns me on, I want to happen, and what turns me off, I don't want to. That's as broad as I want to say it. What turns me on, I want it to happen. What turns me off, I don't want it to happen. And don't you deny you're living your life that way. And they all do, and that's why the world's a mess. Why? Because they have to compete with each other to make the moment in front of them be what they want and not be what they don't want. And since they all had different experiences, I try to teach you this. It is very rational that the world is such a mess. Why? If human beings' psyches are the sum of their learned experiences, no one has ever had the same experiences and never will. Every single experience is unique that you're having, and there's that sequence of experience you had through your life. Who had that before? Nobody, because they never had before. So now everybody's programmed differently and thrown together on this little planet, and let's see what happens. But basically, it's absurd. Of course you're going to fight with each other. Of course you're going to get divorced. Of course you're going to have some problems because you want it a certain way and somebody else wants it another way. There is no win in that life. Notice I haven't talked about renunciation, have I? Here's some food you hate. That was disgusting. You can spit it out if you ever have it. I want you to renounce that. I don't have to renounce it. I don't want it. Someday you will look at how you're living your life and you will say, are you kidding me? I've wasted my time on this beautiful planet trying to make my past happen again if I liked it, and trying to make it not happen again if I didn't like it, and then trying to find people to help me get what I want and never. You said you love me. How could you say that? How could you do that? I thought I could trust you. What's all that saying? I wanted you to be the way I needed you to be based on my past experiences, and you have just violated that which I wanted. You're trying to do that. And then what you do is you say, I'm going to build a house with one person in it, maybe a kid, right? One person, and everything better be the way I want it to be when I come home into that house. It's my house. You're doing the same thing. You'll never win. You can't win at that game. This whole thing that tells you that, oh, the world should be the way you want. That's how it's made, to be the way you want. It is not. It follows the laws of science. It doesn't rain on your birthday because you were bad. Let's throw the concept of karma out the window. I don't want you to think like that. To the extent that it's true that what goes around comes around, it comes back around because you needed a teaching. It's a positive thing. Life tries to teach you. It's not a punishment. There's no punishment. God doesn't punish. He teaches. So now with that out of the way, and I can sit there and say, the events that are happening in life, this is how I like to look at life. Ready? Science is wonderful. What they're finding out about life is how God created the universe. That's what quantum physics is. How exactly did nothing come into something? Well, just go study quantum physics. Go study the concept of wavelets in a field. Create protons, neutrons, and protons, blah, 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 and the whole universe gets built. You'll become humbled. So you wake up and you realize it rained because the El Nino and La Nina is going to get cold because an Arctic front is coming through. Not because you were bad. Not because, oh my God, I was cold in my heart, so cold has to happen outside. I don't want you to think like that. All it does is reinforce the concept of ego. I'm the creator of the universe and I screwed up bad. No, you're the witness of the unfolding of life and the witness of the mess you made inside of yourself because you couldn't handle the unfolding of life. That's all that's going on. You are God looking down into the creation that got made based upon all the laws of nature, the laws of creation, but he got caught. He looked a little too close and started to identify with what he was looking at. Every one of you, let's get this straight, every one of you, every single thing that ever lived is God consciousness looking down at what it's looking at and looking too close so it identifies what it's looking at instead of identify with who's looking. If you understood that, you understand all the deep teachings. That's what's going on. There's just one consciousness. It created the universe and it's looking down into it. And that's what you are. You are that consciousness, a ray of that, just like the sun. There's one sun out there, right or wrong. But what if a ray of light from the sun is shining on something very destructive and terrible? It's still the same ray of light from the same sun. Okay? Well, that's what's happening. Every one of your individualized consciousnesses is not individual. Like people say, use it to go to God. I don't say use it to go to God. I say stop leaving. You're already there. You are fully enlightened. Listen to me. You in there who's looking at your junk are God. In the Indian scriptures, they say the nature of you who's looking, the soul, the Atman, is Satchidananda. They say the nature of God is Satchidananda. They're the same thing, eternal conscious ecstasy. That's what's staring at your psyche. What is your psyche? I told you, your psyche is what you built because you couldn't handle life. So you built these concepts and views and opinions and hopes and dreams, all based on your past experiences. And you're staring at that, and you're staring so hard, the only thing you see is that. It distracts your consciousness so much that you don't know who you are. You don't know who's looking. You're too caught up in what you're looking at. I want you so much to understand this because it changes the meaning of your life. The meaning of your life is not getting what you want so that even though you lost yourself, you feel a little bit better about it. It is self-realization. It is to realize you in there are the holiest thing that walked the face of the earth. That's what's back there. But you got lost looking at this thing you made, and you did make it. Not you, this person I'm talking to. But at some level, your will, your reactivity, your resistance, or your clinging built this psyche. Okay? Well, is there a higher life than devoting yourself to your garbage? Yes. Success is unconditional well-being. Unconditional is the key word. You are completely filled with joy and love and freedom beyond your comprehension. But you're doing the silly, stupid thing of staring at this thing that you built. Your mind, your ego, your heart. Yes, your heart. Why? It's personal. It will open and close. You don't open and close. To you, all of life, Ramakrishna used to say, helter skelter, come what may. Just whatever. How would you like to wake up in the morning and realize you're going to have the most beautiful day you've ever had because it's fine? Because things are going to happen and they're going to rock them. They're going to come and touch me. But what if someone you love dies? There's going to be pain. There's going to be loss. Isn't that beautiful? Are you willing to feel so rich that every single experience, both high and low, pass right through you? There's a line in the Gita that's so beautiful. That book is so beautiful. In the Gita, at some point, Krishna says to Arjuna, Krishna's God, and Arjuna is his disciple. And Krishna talks about this high state that beings can reach where they're merged with God, right? They're enlightened, fully one, everything. And Arjuna asks Krishna, he says, how will I know him? I'm going to paraphrase. How will I know him? Sits he, walks he, talks he like any other man? How will I know this great enlightened, God-descended being sits, he walks, he talks like another man. Krishna says, oh, he sits, he talks, he walks like another man. He doesn't levitate, okay? He sits, he walks, he talks like another man. If you would know him as such. When goodness comes, it comes and departs. When darkness comes, it comes and departs. He walks as a sojourner, a stranger in the midst of the qualities of nature. Just as all the rivers and streams of the world pour into the ocean, and the ocean doesn't overstep its bounds, so the world of sense pours into the yogi and leaves him where it found him, at peace, serene, content. Equanimity is yoga. That's a life worth living. You're always okay. Everything is free to unfold. Does that mean you don't interact with it? That's why the Gita is so deep. I could say, okay, I guess I'll accept everything. I'll just be here and everything will flow through me and I'll be in ecstasy. To which Krishna says, pick up, of all things, they're on a battlefield. And God is telling him, pick up your weapons and fight. What do I want to fight for? You just told me I'm in ecstasy. It's fine. He said, because it's my game, not yours. And if I want to fight, I have create a universe and there's all kinds of things going on and it's your place to serve. And I'm the chariot driver. I'll drive you into the battle. That's the extreme example. I love it. It's so extreme, right? Because we say peace and love and then he's telling them to go to war. But for your life, of course you interact with life. Of course you interact with life. Spirituality is not about not interacting with life. Even when you reach the highest state, I don't need anything. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm just filled with Shakti all the time. You're here to interact with life. There's a difference. Now you're interacting with life because you need something or don't want something. It's all personal. Every single thing you're doing is trying to be okay. I'm trying to be okay. What if you are okay? And instead of coming down here to take and manipulate and control, you're coming down here to give. You're coming down here, you're so filled with love and joy, it's pouring off of you. And all you want to do your entire life is just, what can I do to help? How can I raise the energy of anyone I interact with, of every moment I interact with? That's the difference. It's a big difference, isn't it? So you're capable of reaching that state. Every one of you, I don't care what you've done. You know what they say? At the moment of enlightenment, all the seeds of karma are burned and they will never sprout. Ever heard that? In other words, they fall off anyways. You have karma because you did things that weren't so good, let's say. All right? And so now you have that inside of you and you're attracting to you situations that will teach you how not to do that. Not that will punish you for doing it. If you learn, I can't believe I was like that. I can't believe I used to be like that. I'm really glad I'm not like that anymore. There's no karma. You're not that being anymore. Here, somebody get held back in third grade math. And then they did wonderful. They learned. The second time they went through, they learned everything. Put them back. Put them back in third grade math. Why? They didn't do well. No, that's ridiculous. They learned what they needed to learn. Now they've got a master's degree in theoretical mathematics. What difference does it make that you failed third grade math, now that you have your PhD in theoretical mathematics? Should you feel bad? No, you learned. So anything you've done in your life, the day that you're willing to see what made you do that, which was the stuff, everything you did, it was the stuff you stored in there from before. My father beat me, and so I was angry. And this and that. My parents got divorced, and I wasn't happy. And so I don't treat people well. And all psychology. It's just a stupid psyche caused all that. The day you transcend that and you let go of that, there's no karma, there's nothing to, why would you have to relive it? No shame, no blame. You're a free being if you're willing to let go of the garbage you stored inside. Well, how do I do that? There, that's the spiritual path. That is a spiritual path. If you have techniques that help you, that's wonderful. If reading the Bible helps you, fine. The Gita is fine. If meditating a certain way, fine. But listen to me. It's all about letting go of that stuff. Let go of your stuff. And wait till you see what happens. Everything changes. What you do is during every moment of your life from now on, this entire year, things are going to happen that hit your stuff. Have you noticed? It's not because life is against you. It's because the stuff is in there and life is trying to continue its flow and you won't let it. You blocked this stuff before. No one talked. No, I don't want you to talk to me like that. It just builds. It keeps building. What do? I commit myself to letting go of myself. How did Christ put it? Dying to be reborn. Are you willing to go through the changes you need to go through so that when you wake up tomorrow morning, you're not the same person that woke up this morning? And I'm telling you, it can be that rapid, your growth. You should not be the same person the next morning. Why? Because you went through a whole day of lessons, of learning, of opportunity to let go of the garbage you stored inside. And that is the meaning of your life. You want to call it purification? I don't want to call it that, because that means, I have to eat right and I shouldn't swear. It has nothing to do with any of the outside stuff. It has to do with what are you doing inside yourself with that garbage you stored in there over the course of your life. Do you know that it doesn't have to be in there? I don't care how traumatic it was. I don't care how painful it is. But when it's so, I can't handle it when it comes up. Okay, you need to learn to. How? I can't handle it. Okay, shouldn't play the piano. I want you to sit there and play Beethoven, Mozart, Tchaikovsky. That's hard. I don't play the piano. All right. Can you learn? Have you ever learned anything that you didn't know how to do before? A sport, play tennis, golf. Yes or no? Can you learn? Well, why can't you learn this? Why do you sit there and say, no, I can't handle it? Okay, I know you can't handle it. I don't want it. I'm fine. You can't handle it. Can you learn to let go of that garbage you stored inside? But that's a great thing for you to understand. I know you can't do it. I honor, I respect it, I have compassion. But I know you can learn. How? By letting go when it comes up. But it's too big. Then start with the small things. You don't learn the piano with Tchaikovsky or Mozart. You learn it with the scales. You don't learn how to let go of what you stored in there with these giant things that freak you out even to think about them. You learn because the driver in front of you is not driving the way you want. Have you ever talked to the driver in front of you? Answer me. Do you know they don't hear you? I was wondering, do you know they don't hear you? Okay, you're getting upset about something that is completely meaningless. The driver will turn in 3 blocks, or you'll be 15 seconds slower to get to where you were going because he's driving below the speed limit. But you bother yourself about it, don't you? How about that's your lesson? That's the scales on the piano. Can you learn during those moments to remember this talk and say, I can't make the guy drive. Well, go on, tailgate him. Right? No, beep. Come on. Use it to go to God. Or, excuse me, use it to stop leaving God. There's a moment right there in your life where you can say, I can handle this. No, I can't handle this. You can handle that, can't you? That's your way to God. That's your path. Start handling these little things. I call, in Living Untethered, they're called low-hanging fruit. To start with the simple things in life that you're bothering yourself about. They're not bothering you. The person driving, they're driving. The weather is what it is. You're bothering yourself about it. How about not doing that? Then you're going to learn how to handle things that aren't exactly what your ego wants. You'll learn how to not be the sum of your learned experiences. Some of my learned experiences is, I don't like the heat. I've never liked the heat. When I was little, I don't like that. Right? Okay, there's a some of your learned experience. Some people love the heat. They lay down. Some people love the cold. It's about to get cold. I know people are so excited. Oh my God, it's going to get down to the 20s. I can't wait. You have patterns. You can handle the weather. Handle it. See the part of you that doesn't want to handle it and offer it to God. Let it go. Be positive affirmation. I don't care what you use. Meditate, mantra, but handle it. Don't let yourself bother yourself about something you're capable of not bothering yourself about. And the next thing you're going to know, something bigger is going to happen. That used to bother the hell out of you. And you have learned how to let go. You learned how to say, okay, yes, I don't like what she said. What do I know? She had a bad day. And you don't forgive her. You let it go. So there's no basis for forgiving. And this becomes how you spend your year. This is your devotion to, I will not be the same person tomorrow as I was yesterday, because I am letting go of the garbage that I stored inside over the course of my life. And eventually something big will come up and it hurts like hell. Why? It was stored with pain. It's coming back with pain. There's a reason you pushed that away when you were 5. They took your blankie away. But that's psychology, isn't it? Okay? Now, all of a sudden, you see a blankie that looks the same color, you want to go home, and you go into your room, and you start feeling sad. Fine. Don't be mad at yourself for that. Be happy that that's happening. It means you're having an opportunity to let this thing go. It hit your stuff, but now you're able to let it go. Maybe you cry. Maybe you see the sadness. You look at it and say, oh my God, I can't believe that's still in there. And I'm going to stop now, but I don't want to. You go past the point of, I can handle this. Okay, I know it's good for me. I can handle this. It's hard. Okay, good. Struggle. See, you're not renouncing. You're releasing. You're letting go. So you're letting go. Then you get to the point you've done that enough, and you realize behind that is something very beautiful. When you've let go of that, you have more Shakti. You have more joy in life. Less things bring you down. And so you start to welcome the experiences that hit your stuff. Why? Because it's an opportunity to let them go. Well, do I have to go find out why they're there? No, they will come up by themselves. If you're not holding them down, they will come up by themselves. Do I have to know why they were anything? Do I have to train? No, you just have to let it go. Somehow I have this sadness stored inside of me. It was in there in high school, and every once in a while I go into that state. Do I have to psychoanalyze? You can. There's nothing wrong with therapy, anything, fine. Psychiatry, fine. Do you have to? No, you just have to be willing to let it go. The sadness came up now. Welcome. You've been down there my whole life. I don't want you down there anymore. You start welcoming the things that hit your stuff. And then you go to a whole nother state. I just realized this is some point in my life. You're not just welcoming it. You're throwing a party. Then you're not just throwing a party. You look at it and you feel compassion for it. You shove that piece of your psyche down into a dark hole and held it down there, like locking a child in a closet. You apologize to it. Your entire relationship with your psyche changes. You say, my God, I'm so sorry. I wasn't evolved enough to handle the situation. And I had to push you down there in the dark. A piece of my being, a piece of my energy, a piece of my consciousness, I shoved down there. I am sorry. Let me help you up. All right? The Gita says one should raise the self with self, not trample down the self. For self that could be a self-friend can become self-foe. It's talking about the higher self relationship with the lower self. It isn't a matter of that strict Zen, beat it up, right? You can't beat up part of your being to be whole. You raise it. You put your hand down. Come on. I'm sorry. We'll go through this together. I'm sorry. Come on. You can come up now. You can come up now at your own pace. Come on. Come up. Maybe it takes a few times for it to get hit, right? And you offer it up. Just offer it up. Wow. When your whole day becomes that, now you're growing spiritually. Well, thank you for listening. Work on yourself. Jai Gurudev.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.